What if the very thing that makes you understand people better than everyone else is the same thing quietly ruining your peace? What if your ability to read between the lines is not a gift, but a burden you were never taught how to carry? Because the more you understand people, the harder it becomes to trust them. And the more clearly you see reality, the more exhausting it becomes to exist in it. Once you start noticing everything, you cannot go back to seeing nothing. And that is exactly where the real problem begins. There is a certain type of person who does not just hear words, they notice the silence around them. They do not just see faces, they catch the smallest changes most people completely miss. They do not just experience moments, they automatically search for patterns behind them. At first it feels powerful, almost like you have unlocked a hidden layer of reality. You can sense tension in a room before anyone even speaks. You can feel when someone is lying, even when their words sound perfect. You can tell when someone is pretending even when everything looks normal on the surface. People call this awareness, intelligence, intuition. But what they do not see is the cost that comes with it. Because seeing too much slowly starts to disconnect you from everyone else. While others enjoy conversations, you analyze them. While others feel emotions, you question them. While others trust easily, you hesitate without even wanting to. Your mind keeps scanning, comparing, detecting small inconsistencies over and over again. And over time, this ability stops feeling like power and starts feeling like pressure. Because you begin to notice something uncomfortable about the world. Most human interaction is not completely honest. From a psychological point of view, this is not something mystical. It is pattern recognition working at a higher sensitivity. Your brain processes micro details faster than most people. Tone shifts, eye movement, body language mismatches. And when these signals do not match the words, your mind immediately flags it as something being off. But it does not stop there. You do not just see what is happening, you start understanding why it is happening. You do not just see arrogance, you see the insecurity behind it. You do not just see anger, you see the fear underneath it. You do not just see confidence, you recognize the performance behind it. And once you start seeing people at that level, you cannot unsee it anymore. At some point, you stop reacting like everyone else around you. When someone lies, you notice it instantly. When someone fakes emotions, you feel it without effort. When someone tries to manipulate, you catch it before it even fully happens. But the moment you point it out, something unexpected happens. People do not appreciate it, they resist it. Because people do not always want truth, they want comfort. And the moment you disturb that comfort, you become the problem in their story. Not the lie, not the behavior, but you. So you slowly start staying quiet. You smile, you nod, you pretend not to notice things you clearly see. And that is where a different kind of loneliness begins. Not because you are alone, but because you feel disconnected in a room full of people. Then another problem starts to grow. When you stop trusting what people say, you start trusting only your own analysis. And that is where your mind turns against you. Because now everything feels like it has a hidden meaning. A simple message feels loaded. A late reply feels intentional. A compliment feels suspicious. Your brain keeps asking what is really going on and what is being hidden. And without realizing it, you get trapped in a loop of constant observation and interpretation. You protect yourself from being fooled, but you lose your ability to relax. You gain clarity, but you lose peace. And then comes the heaviest part of all. When you understand people deeply, you start carrying things they do not even realize themselves. You notice pain they ignore. You see problems before they happen. You sense cracks in relationships while everyone else is celebrating them. And most of the time you cannot say anything. Because you will either ruin the moment or no one will believe you. So you stay silent. And that silence slowly turns into emotional weight. A quiet heaviness that never really leaves. You are surrounded by people, but mentally you feel alone. Not because no one is there, but because no one sees what you see. At this point, it feels like the world is the problem. Like people are fake, blind, and surface level. But the deeper truth is something most people never realize. Your awareness is not the problem, your relationship with it is. Because seeing everything does not mean you have to react to everything. And that is the shift that changes everything. You do not need to stop thinking, that is not possible. You need to learn where your energy actually belongs. Not everything you notice deserves your attention. Just because something is true does not mean it matters in your life. Observe what you see, but do not carry it. Learn to let things exist without needing to fix them or expose them. Understand that people are not always fake to deceive you. Sometimes they are just protecting themselves. They are hiding fear, avoiding rejection, trying to feel accepted, and when you see that, judgment slowly turns into understanding. You also have to accept that not everything can be predicted or controlled. Not every signal is a warning. Not every red flag is the end. Sometimes you have to allow yourself to experience life without overanalyzing every detail. Because if you keep trying to control everything, you will miss the experience completely. When you stop fighting your awareness, something shifts inside you. You still see everything, but it no longer controls you. You stop feeling the need to decode every person and every situation. You choose when to engage and when to let go. And that is the moment awareness turns into wisdom. So if you have ever felt like you understand too much, notice too much, and think too much, maybe the problem is not that you see too much. Maybe the problem is that no one ever taught you what to do with what you see. Because you were never meant to be blind, but you were also never meant to carry everything alone. The goal is not to see less. The goal is to protect your peace while seeing clearly. And once you learn that, everything changes. Now tell me honestly, which one hits you the most? Overthinking, isolation, or emotional exhaustion? Write it in the comments, because your answer might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. And if this made you feel understood even a little, make sure you subscribe, because this is where we turn awareness into strength, not suffering.